guest is a Grammy-winning musician and inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's currently on a nationwide summer tour, which wraps up Labor Day weekend at the Gorge Amphitheater in George Washington, September 4th through the 6th. Tickets are available at DaveMatthewsBand.com. Please welcome back to the show, Dave Matthews, everybody! Very nice
I'm
to
good.
have you.
I just ran into Amy Adams in the and I was blocking the way and I said, "Hello, I'm David." She said, "Hello." And what I mean is, I don't think she has any idea who I am. I was so good.
Well, it certainly sounds like you kept her cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we were just reminiscing with Amy Adams about SNL. You were the musical guest when Joseph Gordon-Levitt hosted, and there was a sketch that Andy Samberg used to play Jack Johnson. In that sketch, Bill Hader played you.
Very well too. He did a better me than me.
And they asked you to be in the sketch, but then they had to figure out who you were going to play. And I think originally they were trying to think of that kind of genre that you're in, and maybe like James Taylor.
Oh, because Levitt was
Jason Mraz.
He was Jason Mraz.
Yeah.
And he went to the hat store and boom, that was a good one too.
Yeah.
And then they came to me and they said, "What if you were James Taylor?"
Yep.
Who, anyway, since then I've met James Taylor and we're homies.
Oh,
but,
wow.
That's an aside brag. but my friend Fenton said to me, he doesn't have to say his name, but I did. Fenton said, "You shouldn't be James Taylor. There's like four guys that like James Taylor's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, four guys that are basically the same."
Right.
But he said I should play like someone like Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Oh, that's a good idea." And conveniently, my road manager for years, and still my road manager, and mainly I like to call him my friend, but I pay most of my friends.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
But anyway,
So everybody you've said friends so far, you actually pay.
I actually paid
great.
him, and I paid him for years.
Great.
But anyway, but then Bill worked for years with Ozzy Osbourne for years. I mean, that's how I met Ozzy Osbourne, was through Bill. And I could be like, "Hey, Ozzy, how's it going?" He's like, "Hey, Dave." I mean, like, what's happening? And because of that, anyway, but this was before that, and Bill said, he gave me advice on how to be Ozzy. Man, I'm talking a lot.
No, it's great. But for anybody who wants to... Here you are. First of all, in case you're wondering what it looks like, there's Dave as Ozzy Osbourne. Here's the whole cast, so we can see Joseph Ayer as Jason Mraz and Andy. But like you got advice on the physicality of how to walk as Ozzy.
So Bill told me, but anyway, first of all, my forehead was slightly too big for Ozzy. That's how I was
You're so hung up
self-conscious.
on that. You were talking about this backstage.
I know, it's my big forehead anyway, but they should have brought it down.
Did somebody leave a mean comment on YouTube about your forehead?
I looked at it myself and I mean commented myself.
Yeah.
But Bill told me, and this is with, I love Ozzy Osbourne since I was like 13. I love Black Sabbath. I mean, I just love that. So understand, I'm not dogging anybody. But Bill said, when you come into the room, come in sort of, and then it's slowly like, and then when you leave, then I just try to go backwards.
Yeah.
Sorry. He would say, then leave, just like, which was great advice.
So
and
Ozzy was always like a little hesitant to enter, but happy to leave.
Yeah, he would hop out, but he would come in like, he would come in like, dog on the floor, you know, and then he would leave, like someone would say, "You on the floor," he'd go, "Oh," and then he would leave, you know. But also Bill told me, if you can't find the script or you're nervous, just go. He said, just go. So, and it was so.
These are really good. I mean, Bill's basically an acting coach.
He basically is.
Yeah. Do you remember, you're doing Queens, do you remember the first time you guys played New York City?
The first time we played New York City, this is like almost, I feel so cool that I can say that we played at CBGB.
Really?
Yeah, because we were right at the end. Nobody knows we played CBGBs. They'd be like, "They played CBGBs?" I don't think so. Anyway, we did. And
what time of day were you doing CBGB? Did they have you on at like 2 in the afternoon?
I think we were on at like 4 in the morning.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
But Peter Buck was there. I
Oh,
mean, it was
wow.
kind of cool. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was there to, from REM. He was there, and not to play. I mean, maybe he came to see the band before us, but I remember seeing him.
Yep, that
I was like,
counts. That
that's
counts. He
pretty
was
cool.
there. Yep.
And we played, and nobody remembers. But that was the first place we played, and it was very exciting.
That's fantastic.
And
Now-
if I'm wrong, I don't care. And
well,
that's what
well,
it is.
Dave, we care.
Yeah, but what I mean
You know,
is,
we have fact checkers here, and
they
we would
will
love
be
you
a-
to try to at
and
least
they'll
be
like,
right.
no, I think the first time we played
Is
in
this the old van?
This is our
Look at
van.
that. That
We
is a-
definitely didn't pull up to CBGB's in this. We may have, maybe we did.
Yeah.
That probably. I'll say that. It might have been a station wagon.
Really? Oh, this was too nice
This
for
is
your.
like when we'd. No, but I think we were in.
So when this pulled up, people were like, you know what band's taking off?
Yeah, exactly. We still have that van.
Do you really?
Yeah, it still smells a little bit like something is rotting in it.
Yeah. What is
You
it?
can't
Is
get
it is
the-
it just for like the Dave Matthews Museum, or are you actually using
No,
it?
I think they use it to move stuff around at our headquarters.
Oh, that's very fun.
Our headquarters in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Oh, that's great. You know, in a pre-digital era, you were a band that did, in a way, go viral, at least the way we use the word now, which is, but from tape culture, right? Like people.
All tapes, yeah.
So you guys were doing shows, and you were basically like letting people record the shows. You were not anti the idea that they would bootleg it.
Yeah, I mean, we hoped they bootleg it because we couldn't. We weren't. Look, I love all the music that was happening on the radio then, but we weren't the thing.
Yeah.
We were not the thing. And we have a violin and a sax player and an acoustic guitar, and people are like, "That sounds awesome." And but then the Nirvana was in Soundgarden. There were so many great bands, but that was sort of more. It was the frustration of the world, and we were like, anyway, and then. But people liked some people, and so they'd go. We played a lot of sororities and frat parties and drunken clubs, and then they'd go home, and then they'd trade tapes with their friends, and then their friends would go to their colleges. We would go to a college town we'd never even be near, and we'd start playing, and the whole crowd would be singing the song. We'd be like, what is happening?
But it must have been the coolest feeling in the world when you realized that ultimately, like, your popularity was traveling because people were kind of forcing it. You guys weren't. It wasn't by your own hand, which is the coolest thing in the world.
I feel like we were very lucky. Something happened. We did something. I remember someone going, why don't you play some Pretenders? And I was like, we don't know anybody's music but our own. They're like, what? They're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And then we're like,
But I mean, again, like, obviously you've cultivated this fan base that started like even before you were big, right? They were passionate about you, and so it just must be so cool to do these summer tours where you're, often just outside with a bunch of people who've been listening to music for so long.
yeah. And sometimes they're kids.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine it's good vibes. Is it still as much fun to be out there playing these songs?
I like it. I like right at the moment. I like my job and I can't believe I still have it. But I like it. I like playing with these same people, the ones that have survived, and we're all still great friends. And I love turning around and seeing Carter, who's still been playing music together for 36 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Stefan, and then everybody else,
You,
36 years.
36 years. You guys are you're known for like summer tours. You're great outside. It's like, hey, it's a beautiful day. Let's go listen to Dave Matthews. You play less winter shows. We found a photo of what I've heard you say was the coldest you ever were on stage. Where were you playing here?
I look like that's more clothes than I thought I had on. That's a terrible. I love that coat, by the way.
Yeah.
I still have that coat.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You still have the van. You still have the coat. Like,
Yeah.
feel free to upgrade. You know?
It was a nice coat, but I had to put it away because I wore it all the time.
It is a
Anyway,
good
it was
coat.
so cold that they put heating, and you can't tell from that picture that this is Salt Lake City. It was so cold. It was so cold that all of us just said, well, we have to. Excuse me. They all said. We have to all just wear gloves. And
Yeah.
so we did. All of us were just like no one could see. I didn't know you could see as much of me as you can in that picture. But then the next day, I think Sheryl Crow was playing. The next day, they had heating.
They had heating. They learned the lesson.
She came out with that incredible midriff. Thank God they didn't make me come
Yeah.
out with my incredible midriff.
No, they were like, the next act is a midriff act. We got to fix this.
Yeah, exactly.
Sartorial choices. We've talked about it. This was an era for you. You were this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? Aw, look at him.
Yeah.
I could eat that guy and still have room for another guy.
But I will say, like, I mean, I feel like you inspired a generation of men to wear these kinds of pants out and about.
Yeah, so anyway, I think I wore this. These are not as bad as they got sometimes, but we were playing a show, so I was in an arena. I can't remember where we were. And I walked out in the hall, and I saw my lawyer coming down. My lawyer. A lawyer that I knew.
Yeah.
And coming down the hallway, and he was wearing pajama pants.
Oh, yeah.
Like those. And I said, oh, no, I can't do this anymore.
Oh. Once the lawyers started wearing them, you're like,
"That's
this
a
is,
terrible."
it's over, yeah.
Not to say that I look good in them, but it was not a good look for him. And I thought, I don't want to spread. I don't want this ugliness to spread beyond
You're right.
me.
I think in general, like, when a rock star sees a lawyer wearing their clothes, they're like, it's over.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to move on to a new look.
And that, yeah. I like that way you said that. I wish that I was dressed differently to go with what you said. And
I love the way you're dressed.
Up.
What a cool thing to have you here, Dave. It is just such a delight to talk to you.
For no reason, just to hang out.
Just a dude. Just a dude I wanted to talk to.
I like him so much.
Oh, that's
and I
so
think
kind.
That's why I said, please, can I have on your show?
And that's
me.
It's literally just lovely to have a person to come on and chat, and you're just the best, and have great shows. Have a great summer. Come back soon. Dave Matthews, everyone. For more information, go to DaveMatthewsBand.com. We'll be right back with Jenny Hagel.